The HP Tech Forum videos is brought to you by GoToMeeting. Go over to gotomeeting.com/tech podcasts for a 30-day free trial. Also, social-media-interviews.com for social media professionals.
Hey, I'm Andy McCaskey from SDR News, and we're here for the Tech Podcast Network at the HP Tech Forum in Las Vegas. Talking with Jeremy from Opus Interactive, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, and we've been talking about a number of things that a third-party neutral provider faces in their IT world. What's your role with Opus?
Yeah, I'm the VP of Sales and Operations at Opus Interactive. We're a managed service provider, providing a wide variety of services from your managed services, from hosting to co-location to high-cap internet.
So not only do you set expectations and promise to do it, you actually have to do it.
That's correct.
It's like combined in one person. That's a good plan, actually.
Buck stops here.
Yeah. So what does a third-party neutral provider do?
Yeah, so a lot of the hosting that we provide will be for a wide variety of customers like HP, Intel, etc., where from a marketing agency, we've partnered with a lot of interactive agencies that will do a lot of web development and marketing campaigns for various different Fortune 500 companies, and they'll provide, whether it's a contest or some marketing promotion on a new product, etc., and they'll need a third-party neutral to host that environment, host that particular marketing campaign. And because of the relationships we have with those agencies, we're generally the hosting provider of choice to host those campaigns.
So it's not a peak to average problem. Both of the companies could have the capacity to serve out of their own data centers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but why do they want to have a third party?
The advantage of having a third party is you kind of have that neutral ground where it's not
finger pointing.
That's right. So if the marketing campaign didn't do as well because of the hosting environment, they can't blame one co-branded company or the other. It's a third party that they look at, and in that case it'd be me.
Yeah. So how large a company is Opus?
Yeah, we currently have 13 employees located in Northwest Portland.
Mm-hmm.
But the advantage of what we do is because we virtualize so much from the infrastructure that we provide, and providing private clouds as well as public cloud offerings, we can really increase the number of server administration to server admins because of the technology and the automation that's been implemented.
So you've been around since the mid-90s?
Correct.
Yeah, and you must have gone through a number of generations of hardware.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so originally, starting from a kind of a bootstrap perspective with privately held, privately funded, funding resources are always limited. So you start out by making your own white boxes, making your own servers come to life. A lot of disadvantages there, lack of parts, lack of availability, and from a funding standpoint, it's hard to have extra stuff laying around. So when we ran into that kind of being an issue of a bottleneck and increasing our service level agreements with customers, we had to standardize on a platform, and we looked at the IBMs, the Dells, the HPs of the world, and at the time, and continuing, we selected HP based upon the service level and the innovation that they've been able to provide for us.
Yeah, but how did that work out for you in the beginning?
In the beginning, it was a little bit of a challenge because it's a huge shift in what we were doing from an organization standpoint and standardizing on a platform and eliminating all of the legacy stuff.
I tell the sales guy is talking, not the operations guy. How did it go at first with the P-class boxes?
We originally we had some of their DL servers, and that was fairly cut and dry. But then we had HP's P-class chassis, their kind of first blade entry piece. Yeah. Very, very painful. It was, in our opinion, HP's initial attempt to get into the market space. Mm-hmm. On the blade things, a lot of problems with the P-class, a lot of limitations of what it was capable of doing. But they spent significant amount of time in investing in the C-class chassis, and so we've completely standardized and gotten rid of the legacy P-class and have standardized on the C-class chassis, which has been a huge increase in benefit for us.
So you're very small at that time, a very small customer.
Correct.
But you stuck with HP.
We did.
Yeah.
We absolutely did. I mean, a lot of it's because of the R&D engine that HP has, and the way they innovate and look forward before they look and solve problems that aren't yet problems for us.
Yeah. What would be an example of that?
A good example is with the C-Class chassis and being able to have the redundant power supplies, the energy efficiency cooling, but more importantly, before really virtualization from a hypervisor level was able to boot off a USB, they had already implemented within their C-class chassis blades the USB card. So I could literally no longer need a drive to boot or run a machine. Things they were doing with their ILO, their integrated lights out management, all of those innovations that we had other workarounds to make things happen. They implemented, and hey, wait, this makes things more efficient, much more faster for us to implement, deploy, etc.
So you're a great fan of virtualization. It's
Absolutely.
really a key part of really key part of your business.
Absolutely.
As well. What other HP things have worked out really well for you?
Well, you always wonder when a company like HP goes and acquires companies, acquires organizations, because you never know what the acquisition's for. Is it an acquisition to eliminate competition, or is it an acquisition to enhance portfolio? And one of those acquisitions fairly recently was when they acquired Left Hand Networks. We had invested in Left Hand from a virtual SAN space to keep that same modular virtual SAN technology to hand marriage with the Blade chassis and VMware and Microsoft Hyper-V, etc. And when HP acquired Left Hand, it was one of those, okay, are they going to dismantle it,
kill it off,
or enhance it?
Yeah.
And for us, it's been very fortunate that they've only enhanced it, changing it from the Left Hand model and reinventing it with what they're planning on doing with G3 and the P4000 has been a great thing for us. And we have that much more real estate in terms of buying from HP, more buying power, because now we're buying HP exclusively, not only from the compute and RAM standpoint, but also now from a storage perspective, it's all HP.
How do you handle the training of your people?
A lot of the training takes place from whether it's certifications of various different technologies, whether it's VMware certification, HP certification, Microsoft certification. So a lot of that is we provide those training mechanisms for our individual employees to get trained up on the certification so they know the technology in and out. But more importantly, we also believe very highly in the baptism by fire method. You throw them in the middle of a fire, obviously supervised but no better experience than hands-on than what you could get out of a book.
Yeah. So where do people go to find more information about your relationship with HP?
Yeah, you can check us out on our website at www.opusinteractive.com.
All right. Jeremy, thanks for joining us in the SDR Newsroom, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm Andy McCaskey from SDR News for the Tech Podcast Network.
Uh-oh, you're late for that meeting again. You travel, you miss planes, you miss trains, you miss connections, and you're confused and you're frustrated. Just to get to that one meeting that's going to make you a lot of money. Well, why don't you use GoToMeeting? GoToMeeting is a great way to meet with clients and colleagues from across the world. Connection is simple. You can connect either voice over IP or call on a telephone line. We at Tech Podcasts have used GoToMeeting for the Tech Podcast Roundtable, and it has never failed us. It's a great program. It's simple to use. It's easy to use, and everybody can connect on and get going with life. So put this into your business toolbox. For 30 free days, go over to gotomeeting.com/Tech Podcasts. gotomeeting.com/Tech Podcasts. You can meet smarter with gotomeeting.com.